get right to Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskins.
Yeah, so I want to start with the radar here. Now, if you can get the on Weather 2 and just hear the latest 11 o'clock update. But the bottom line is, she just walked over and says, have you seen this? They are looking 110 mile per hour winds right now. That's the 11. Let's go back. Okay, let me slide out of the way here. Let's just go back to the other one. It's fine either way. 110 mile per hour winds. No, I'm sorry, guys. Back over to Weather 2 would be good. Yeah, 110 mile per hour winds. Moving to the north now at 18 miles per hour. The things keep getting faster. Good news, all right? It limits the effects. Pressure is down to 958 millibars, which is actually a little lower than the wind speed. They kind of do go together a little bit there. But now I just walked over, and the update for 11 o'clock says, look, they were calling for 125 right here near landfall. That's Cat 3. That's near the top end. Cat 4 starts at 30. They're now saying it may get Cat 4 before it makes landfall early tomorrow morning in this area. And what that will do is really increase the surge amount up in that area. Again, it's not super populated there because it's so low lying, but that's going to be a big surge. Now, what we need to watch for at this point for us is how big this wind field gets, because it'll start. See this line right here? That line of longitude right there is due north, right? North and south. This has been basically moving due north. It's wobbled a little bit back to the west, just a quick wobble. But this will eventually start to turn to the north and the northeast. And so the wind that's expanding, the wind field that's expanding here will push a little bit more here. And more than the wind that I'm concerned about is the water that it's pushing will come in that area too. And when over here it's pushing the water up to here, it can kind of run along the coast. When it gets up into here, there's nowhere to go. Right? It's coming in at an angle like this and it just runs right in. Here it's kind of at least paralleling the coast. But when it gets up here to Crystal River, up towards Chiefland, Cedar Key, right in there, that area is going to get it all piled up. And the same exact thing is happening right up here in the Big Bend where landfall is going to occur. So yeah, some really impressive numbers. All right, let's go back over to Weather 1, please, and thank you. All right, here we go with the thunderstorms rolling through now. This area right here, Duet, your rain's going to get picked up here a little bit now. There has been some rotation in here. It didn't last long. There's been no warning for it. I don't see anything right now that sticks out as, hey, seek shelter, but that is some very heavy rainfall coming through, especially there, as you can see, in far eastern parts of Sarasota County. That rain band extends all the way down to Captiva and Sanibel, right? It's going to go all the way up through Polk County. In fact, it'll go all the way up basically through Gainesville as well too. Okay, but that is the one that has the best chance for any kind of rotation in it right now. We're going to get a little bit of a break. You can see the hole right there, Manatee County, Sarasota, Longboat Key is actually starting to get a little bit of a break. And then we're going to develop some more rain bands that are coming through. Rain's filling out ahead of it now to the north and the east. This part that you see right here will rotate out through Pasco County in the next hour or so. The wind gusts are picking up because, not even just the wind gusts, but the winds themselves, because of that band coming through. So gusts of 48 in Sarasota, 47 in Venice, 40 in St. Pete, 37 in Clearwater. And these big numbers, those are the steady winds, the 2-minute wind basically. 31 mile per hour wind in St. Pete, 24 in Sarasota. We expect Clearwater to come up. And with the wind blowing here like this, the water's piling up a little bit here in Oldsmar. We're still just now getting to where we have a south wind. So in the next 2 to 3 hours, we'll get more of a southwest wind, and that's when the water is going to start to come up, especially up into Tampa Bay. These are the peak wind gusts as we've been showing you. Look at 35 in Brooksville, 20 out in Plant City. But Plant City, you're going to get that one line I was just showing you. That should give you more than a 20-hour wind gust as it comes through. Well, I'd say 25, 30 or so. We'll keep the highest gusts right along the coast, almost to 50 now in St. Petersburg. 40 still is the highest in Tampa. Most of the wind, the highest winds will stay offshore. You can see this little area right here. That's essentially the hurricane force winds right in there. And in fact, probably closer to the eye wall right there. 110 mile per hour winds. This will start the turn to the north-northeast, and then this edge over here will push on shore. We showed you that video from Fort Myers. Was that where it was earlier from Fort Myers? And that one from the condo looking down on the boats, and you could really see the wind coming through. That was a rain band coming through, right? This point, that's much further to the east. Look at all this wind here. That was part of it. Drag that to the north, and you can kind of see how Pinellas just sticks right out, right? Pinellas, Western Pasco, this whole area, Manatee, Sarasota County. So this right here is our weather for the next 4 to 6 hours. Carolina, were you asking something?
I know you may not want to compare hurricanes for many reasons.
Yeah.
Natalie brought up a really good point about being like a thumbprint. They're all very different. But my question for you is, how does this compare in size to, let's say, Charlie or Speed compared to, another storm, or even Harvey, how it's sat? I'm just curious what this looks like compared to others.
So Charlie, this is very similar to Charlie in size. Charlie moved fast, and Charlie was small. Charlie went into Punta Gorda. And if you drive through Punta Gorda, you're going to see brand new houses and buildings in this about 9 to 10 mile stretch, because that's where they had the most damage. Right? This is a little bit bigger. The hurricane force winds are a little bit bigger than that, but it's moving too. It's moving at a really good clip. Now, Ian was twice the size. Not only the whole storm, but the hurricane, the high winds in the center was twice the size, and it was moving slower. And as it came in, it kind of came in basically something just like this and then went up like that. So it was a big time rainmaker. This will not be a big time rainmaker for eastern Polk County, most of Polk County for that matter, right? So there are differences, absolutely, and we try not to compare them too much because people think, oh, I was fine for Irma, or I was, I was fine for Charlie. Every storm's different because it's not exactly even the physical makeup of the storm, but in this case, it's the direction that it's traveling and what the land looks like, right? It's just capped. There's nowhere to go. So the water's just going to pile up. That wasn't necessarily the case down here. You didn't have major surge in Sarasota and down further to the south. You had it all right there in Fort Myers where that eye wall went in, where the highest winds went in. And that's going to happen here too, but we're going to start pumping the water up here. The National Hurricane Center literally uses the Tampa Bay area for mock drills because the shelf out here is very shallow. You got to go out almost 100 miles before it really drops off. All my spearfishing friends, they know what I'm talking about, right? Middle grounds out there. You go 6 miles off the east coast and it drops right off. So when you have wind blowing there, it's harder to blow that water up that hill. Here, you start blowing wind way out here, 60, 80 miles, you blow that water, it's like just a small ramp, right? It's a lot easier to blow that water here on the west coast. And once it does get to the shore, we just don't have that much elevation anyways. Dave asked Eric, how far above sea level are they? And he's like 0. High tide, they're at sea level in parts of Crystal River. And obviously that water's coming up now. And as I showed you that graphic before, the tides now generally are running anywhere from about 1 to 2, almost 3 inches, 3 feet, I should say, above normal. Most areas are about 2 feet above normal. Here are the forecasted winds for now through 3 a.m. and then 7 a.m. And the key to see is between now and about 7 a.m. is where we're going to see the peak winds. And then after that, sun comes up, storm's pulling away, and winds start to come down just a little bit. So that'll really get us into it. You can see the wind direction here. This is really important because that's when the water's going to start to come up. 4 in the morning. This, I think, is a little, I would say 3 in the morning, we'll have more of a southwest wind. We already got it here at 4 o'clock in the morning for St. Pete, and those numbers are coming up. This is higher than what we have right now. All right, and so it wasn't bad earlier. It's getting breezy, getting windy out there now. Those numbers are going to come up as far as wind speeds go, and then the wind direction really gets going as well to change it up. This is that graphic I was talking about, what the tides are doing right now. So it's hard, whoever's watching, you've got different tide bases where you're at. Just know that where your tide should be, it's probably running almost 2 feet above normal, and that should come up. So if you're looking at a high tide, you think, all right, high tide at my house should be another foot. Looking at the tide tables from where it is right now, well, it's already running 2 feet above that, and that number will go up, right? So then you'd add it, you say 3 feet, and that number's going to go up, and so you say, another 4 feet could happen around 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning. I know it's kind of getting complicated, but that 2 foot number is what you really need to know, and that's really going to be in these areas that you see right up in here especially. Want to watch Oldsmar, want to watch downtown Tampa area. Those are running almost 2 feet above normal right now. And again, it's still going to be closer to about 2 or 3 in the morning before they really start to peak. Guys.